Project Conor McGregor back to relevancy. We're going to look at the possible career paths for Conor McGregor amidst his UFC return. Little Christmas special type episode for you guys. Definitely smash that like button if you're new, subscribe, and also definitely let me know what you think of these type of videos. We have the legacy road, the fast track, and then the safer road. Now I'm going to start things off with the legacy road. I do feel like the realism is pretty high here, and the UFC wouldn't surprise me if they went this road for Conor McGregor. Now, first fight on the legacy road, it's a matchup that I feel like has been teased. Conor McGregor seems open to it. It's a guy known for being in fight of the years, Michael Chandler. I think this makes a ton of sense. Do it at 170. Chandler's willing to jump up. He just had a great fight with Dustin Poirier, which he lost. Before that, he got an epic knockout of Tony Ferguson. Before that, he's in the fight of the year with Justin Gaethje. You are entertained each and every time you watch Michael Chandler fight, and a Conor McGregor-Michael Chandler matchup would be legendary. It's going to be at 170. McGregor, he has some real advantages in this fight. Height, reach. I think he does have better straight shots down the line that can catch a guy like Michael Chandler who blitzes in with fury and honestly sometimes goes out there like a damn street fighter. It's 100% and nothing less from him. I would like to see these two face off. I think for McGregor's comeback, this is a sensible fight. They both have recent losses to the exact same opponent, being Dustin Poirier. Both guys are still considered to be world class. I know Conor McGregor hasn't fought in some time, but it's not like he's losing fights to anybody outside of rankings. His most recent losses are Dustin Poirier and Khabib Nurmagomedov, two of the best lightweights, really all-time status. I mean, for Dustin Poirier, maybe not, the GOAT lightweight, but he's definitely up there as one of the best ever at lightweight. I think that the fight would take place at 170, and I think it would be an action-packed banger, and I really think Conor McGregor could get through this fight and then move on to the next legacy matchup that I really feel like would have people clamoring at the bit to see. Let's just run right through legacy. The next fight, I think, on the legacy road for Conor McGregor would then be the likes of Dustin Poirier. If he beats Michael Chandler, the quadrilogy with Dustin Poirier, I feel like is a must here. Even with their, I guess, settled rivalry, right? Because if you win 2 out of the 3, normally you win the rivalry and we move on with things. Not these guys. A broken leg is what cost Conor in their trilogy. People are still curious about the fight. There's still a lot of disdain between these two guys. Normally, after you go at it 3 times, it's all love. Not with these two. They have unfinished business. We have to see it again. I do think in the interim, Conor McGregor needs a legitimate win against somebody, and I think that someone is Michael Chandler. I don't want to just see them jump right into doing the Poirier quadrilogy. Let's see what Conor can do versus another elite level guy, Michael Chandler being that guy, and I expect both of these fights too, though, probably tend to be 170. I don't know. Conor dropping to 55, I think would need to be for the chance of a lifetime. But let's say Conor McGregor and Dustin do it for a 4th time. And if Conor McGregor then pulls it off, I doubt there's going to be a 5th fight, but you never know with the UFC. But let's say Conor wins it, and then there's another matchup. He's offered a title fight, but it's not going to be at 170 pounds. Say, listen, Conor, we'll do it at 55. What stakes are on the line? Khabib comeback if he beats Islam Makhachev. We do Dagestan versus Ireland again. Team McGregor versus Team Khabib. We run it back. There's going to be just as much hatred, probably not between both of the guys, being Conor and Islam, but that team is just hated by one another. Really, there's hate on both sides there, and I think there'd be a lot of bad blood. This would be a huge fight. Conor McGregor would go into this fight with the potential, let's say he beats an Islam Makhachev, Khabib would probably then come back for the 30-0. I think Conor McGregor beating Islam is the only possible way that we see Khabib Nurmagomedov ever back in the octagon. And I think the legacy route is exactly how it has to go. What are the odds that McGregor actually beats these 3 guys? 3 matchups, which I could easily see going towards Conor's opposition here, especially that Islam Makhachev fight, because stylistically, I think he's a nightmare matchup. It wouldn't blow my mind if McGregor goes the route of Chandler and he ends up losing to Michael Chandler on this legacy route. But if he beats Chandler, he fights Poirier and he somehow gets it through, he then would be faced off with, I think, is the final boss, the Islam Makhachev fight. And I do believe, even as big as Conor is right now physically with his muscles, he would be willing to strip it down for the right matchup, this is the fight. It would be Islam Makhachev. I highly doubt Makhachev is willing to take a non-title fight at 170. Maybe if Makhachev somehow at that point held the 170 title, they do it at 170. But realistically, I think they'd force Conor down to 155. Though, I would much prefer seeing all three of these fights at 170 pounds. I don't need to see Conor at 55, cutting all that extra weight, especially with all that damn mass that he's put on. I want to see what he can do at 170. So the fast track route is specific towards the 170 pound weight class. It's a real welterweight look. I really think this would be Conor McGregor going in with the mindset of starting fresh. Still a big name for the first one. You think Conor McGregor's not fighting a big name on the first one back? It'd be Jorge Masvidal. And I say we do it for the BMF title. I think that would get huge numbers. I think it would be a big pay-per-view. It's a winnable fight for Conor, but also an extremely difficult one against a game Masvidal who's been more comfortable at 70 for a while. I know both guys, had history at 55. I mean, I know Conor really, his best run was at 45. Masvidal's always kind of been just a little bit naturally bigger, having his best run at, I guess really best run at 70, but for a while, Masvidal was doing his thing at 155, and he fought some big names there and had some decent W's. I think a Conor McGregor-Masvidal fight would be an epic sell. Scary fight for Conor McGregor because Masvidal is nasty. I could see Masvidal sleeping a Conor McGregor at 170. This would be a scary route, but this is the route with the mindset of I want to go for gold and start fresh, not only fighting at a new weight class, but fighting the contenders that fight there as opposed to making these 55ers come up to 170 to fight Conor McGregor at his most comfortable weight class. Let's say, though, he pulls it off against Jorge Masvidal. Now, this next matchup is I would say extreme hypothetical because this person would need to win their title fight title fight trilogy. I guess it's a rematch for the championship fights. You know who it is. It would then be Kamaru Usman if he's able to get the strap back from Leon Edwards. I think Usman McGregor's a huge fight. If Leon Edwards held the title, I could easily put Leon's head right in the place of Usman, but I am predicting that Usman's gonna get the belt back in 2023, and maybe McGregor beats Masvidal, and then the UFC says, let's go for it. Let's go McGregor-Usman. I think the matchup is gigantic. Conor McGregor in any main event is huge. World title on the line is even bigger, and especially against the welterweight GOAT. I know some people will say GSP, so let's say the toss-up welterweight GOAT for those people will be nice here. I love this fight. I don't think Conor McGregor would fare well. I actually think probably out of both these guys, I see Conor probably losing to both of them. But if he somehow beat Masvidal, don't tell me you wouldn't be excited for an Usman fight. I would be all in. Yes, please give me these matchups. The fast track route, I'm down as hell for. Obviously, the legacy route is pretty damn realistic, but fast track's not crazy unreal too. I think that could happen. But there's another route, a route that Conor might be more down for. You can see his pictures, right? His emotion is changing as we get to the safe road. I put the happiest pic I could find of Conor on the safer road because these are, a little bit of the, I want to say, safer fights, maybe, less vicious opponents. I mean, come on. First fight back in the legacy route against Michael Chandler would be dangerous. First fight back on the faster route against Masvidal, scary as hell. I think Conor is definitely dog money with Masvidal. Against Chandler, I could see him being a slight favorite. But let's go to the safe road. Who is the first fight back? People might say I'm crazy for this, but I actually think this fight makes sense. And the UFC is going to want to do it. It's Paddy the Baddy. Probably Paddy needs one win to taste that, to wash out the bad taste of the bad performance against Jared Gordon. But let's say Paddy gets a W against whoever the hell. Could be anyone. Could be some guy off the side of the road. And then you sell the McGregor fight. Paddy McGregor is huge, and the UFC doesn't lose here because if their superstar Conor McGregor loses to Paddy Pimblett, the new superstar Paddy Pimblett gets a win over Conor McGregor. If Conor McGregor beats Paddy Pimblett, the biggest superstar in the game beat a guy who has the potential to be a huge superstar. It is what it is. It wouldn't be the end-all, be-all for Paddy either. It'd be a huge legacy fight for really Paddy Pimblett because he gets the chance of a lifetime to beat the star of stars. I like this super star potential type matchup here, but I also think Conor McGregor is a strong favorite here. He has a serious striking advantage. I actually would predict he'd knock Paddy Pimblett out. I think probably in the first round. Would it have to be at 170? Would Paddy be willing to do such a thing for Conor McGregor? Absolutely. So let's say this fight happens and Conor starches Paddy Pimblett. The next fight after, I think is still going to be a safer matchup. I don't know. I think you'd have to consider that Nate Diaz would want to jump back in there with Conor. I know he's outside of the UFC right now, but I think the UFC would be more than willing to give him a one-fight deal for the Conor McGregor fight. Like, I don't know. I think the UFC would recognize this is one of the biggest selling pay-per-views they could do ever, and I'd be 100% down to watch these two go at it for a third time. We have unfinished business. They're 1-1, and Conor barely won that second fight. I would like to see that trilogy. So let's say he does really go the safe road. He gets past the likes of Paddy Pimblett. Nate Diaz, he's not scheduled to box anybody. He's just chilling on the outside. I mean, maybe he'll fight in that DAZN X series shit. Hopefully he gets a win there. But I don't even want to see Nate box. I want to see Nate re-sign to the UFC and they do the Conor McGregor fight. Maybe this would be the first one on the safer road. I don't know. It depends what the, Nate Diaz situation looks like. But I think Conor getting a win, bringing his name really back out there, and he's truly back, more relevant as an opponent for people. Nate Diaz would be like, yeah, let's go for it again. They've already been talking a little smack back on Twitter, talking about doing a power slap contest against one another. Why not throw down in the cage for a third time and let's see who's the better man? I want it. And I think it makes a lot of sense if Conor gets past the baddie Paddy Pimblett, which I do predict he would. And I think there's a good chance he could also beat Nate Diaz. So then after that, he beats Nate Diaz. The pinnacle of this safer road fight is not gold. It's vengeance. It's a revenge tour. So you know who the final guy is going to be. It's going to be Dustin Poirier, who's also on the legacy route. Yes, this is a legacy fight. So the safer road for me will lead Conor McGregor into a legacy fight, avenging the defeats to Dustin Poirier. On the legacy route, the goal is to be the guy who beats Team Dagestan, takes out Islam. And then the fast track is to start a whole new run, doing his thing at 170 pounds and dethroning the GOAT at that weight class. I think the Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor fight is definitely going to happen again. I don't know how the lineups will be, if it'll be more like the legacy side or if it'll be on that safer road. But at some point, I'll tell you, I think Conor McGregor and Dustin face off for a fourth time. I think the safer road's a fun way to do it. I think Conor McGregor can get past the likes of Paddy for sure. Probably could beat a Nate Diaz, but it's not a guarantee. The Dustin Poirier fight definitely would be there afterwards. Tough roads, though. You look at these matchups. If I look at each one of these fights, and I'll give you my predictions right now. Definite prediction, I think Conor beats Paddy Pimblett. I think Conor definitely loses to Usman, definitely loses to Makhachev. I think he could be live in that quadrilogy versus Dustin Poirier. I think he could be live against Masvidal, but I'm favoring Masvidal a bit. Nate Diaz and him's a toss-up. And I think Michael Chandler might be able to out-wrestle him for 3 rounds. If it's a 5-round fight, different game. But I think he could mix in the wrestling and surprise Conor with that. Granted, I definitely could see Conor sleeping him too. So many interesting roads for Conor to go down. I'm very curious what the comeback looks like. I think the UFC should maybe check out this video and consider one of these routes. Maybe they go the safe road, but the legacy route gets me damn interested, and so does the fast track. Let me know, guys, do you agree with these routes? And if you had to pick between one of them, which is the one you want to see for Conor McGregor? Much love, my people. I hope you guys enjoyed this Christmas gift of a video, a very hypothetical one, but a damn fun one to make. Make sure you guys smash that like. If you're new, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on. Much love. Have a blessed holiday, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.